All right, this is Brother Peter with tidbits from the Word. What we're talking about in Genesis chapter 1 and chapter 2 right now is the beginning of what we know, man knows as time. And the beginning of time, by the way, God does not live in time. God lives in eternity. He made time for man. And because he made time for man, he made an earth for man. He made a beautiful, replenishing, refurbishing, regrowing, rehabitating itself. He made an earth that will sustain itself and would sustain itself for everlasting. If it had not been tainted by the devil, it would have, just like man would recreate himself every 7 years. He would renew. He could live forever in this body. God made this body not to break down, not to have disease, not to get sick, but to be a perfect body, function forever, just like it is, with a heart that would pump forever, with all of the molecules in this body, would remake their cells over a period of time, and it would live forever. But the devil come along and said, no way, Jose, that's not going to be God. I'm going to put a spot in there that is going to start rotting, and it's like an apple with a bad bruise on it, and that bruise sits there and festers, and it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And if you let that apple sit there long enough, and then you go to try to pick it out, it's just mush because it's rotted from the inside out. That's the way man is. Now he's rotten from the inside out. But we can make man new from the inside out and do away with that rot. Let's get back in the Bible and see where we were. We were where God had put Adam in the Garden of Eden in the last 4 excerpts. And now we're going to see what is here. He said, but of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, verse 17 of chapter 2, thou shalt not eat of it. For in the day that thou eatest thereof, thou shalt surely die. And the Lord God said, it is not good that man should be alone. I will make him a helpmeet for him. And out of the ground the Lord God formed every beast of the field and every fowl of the air, and brought them to Adam to see what he would call them. And whatsoever Adam called every living creature, that was the name thereof. And that's verse 19. And we need to note that for a second and just take a minute and stop right here and take a look at what we just read. Now, God said first he was going to make a woman for him, and then he stopped and paused right here. And he said, let me let Adam name the animals first. So God brought the animals by Adam, and as they passed Adam, Adam said, well, that's going to be a giraffe, that's going to be a turtle, that's going to be a lion, that's going to be a goat, that's going to be a snail, and that's going to be a gazelle, and that's going to be... And Adam went on through, and he named all the creatures of the earth. And Adam gave names, verse 20, to all the cattle, all the fowls of the air, and to every beast of the field. But for Adam there was not found an helpmeet for him. Now, what did that just say? That just says that Adam gave the names to all of the living creatures. By the way, Adam named all the trees what they are. Adam was created in the image of God with the knowledge that God gave him. And the knowledge God gave him was the ability to name everything what he named it. Nothing has changed. He called a giraffe, it's still a giraffe. He called an alligator, it's still an alligator. He called a lion, it's still a lion. Nothing has changed in 6,000 years. I don't know what would make you think that it ever could have changed before then or ever could have changed after then. If God said he made it, and God said after he made it, he saw that it was good. Do you think if it was good, he was going to try to make it any different? And by the way, you remember back there at the end of chapter 1, in the beginning of chapter 2, God said it was very good. Do you think he's going to try to take something that is very good and make it different or make it better? No. He's going to leave it like it was. So God made all the animals, and he gave them and the fowls of the air and every beast of the field and every creeping thing. And verse 22, verse 21, and the Lord God caused a deep sleep to fall upon Adam, and he slept. And he took one of his ribs, closed up the flesh instead thereof. And the rib which the Lord God had taken from man made he a woman, and brought her unto the man. Now let me tell you something. God made Adam, laid him down there by the river Euphrates, bent down and breathed the breath of life into his soul. And then he took a rib out of this living soul, and he made a woman. He made a live woman. Do you know that I was in the heart doctor the other day, and I said, does a woman's heart do the same thing a man's heart does? How similar are they? They're just alike. They are just alike. When God made a woman, he made a mindset different in that woman. He made a soul the same, but he made a mindset different. He made a woman look different, because Adam was to be attracted to the opposite, and this is where the word sex comes in, opposite sex, which is male and female. Now God put in the heart of a man, and the eyes of a man, and the head of a man, and the extremities of a man, the desire for a mate, just like he did with the animals. When God brought the animals to Adam, Adam could see that he called the lion up there, and the lion had Mrs. Lion with him. He called the giraffe up there, and the male giraffe had the female giraffe with him. And Adam could see all of these animals had their mates. And here is a man standing by himself. Wait a minute, Brother Peter, you're missing something. Back over there it said God said to Adam and Eve to multiply and replenish this earth. And yes, it did. But he hadn't made Eve in the flesh yet. He had made Adam and Eve was in the rib of Adam. She was there, but she was in the rib. God said when two get married, they become one. Well, they were one before the woman was made, and God has the ability to reunite that situation and make that female, that woman, be one with that man. When they are married and they begin to know each other, and the word in the Bible, when they say they knew each other or they know each other, that means that physically they got together physically and actually became one with each other. Not ashamed. Bible said when he made Adam and Eve, they were in the garden, and they were not ashamed. They were naked. They were not ashamed, and they didn't know they were naked, but when they knew they were naked, they became ashamed because for God to see them. They weren't ashamed for each other to see each other, but they were ashamed for God to see them in the naked place. Now God caused that sleep. He made that woman. He brought that woman to the man. We're going to stop right here for a second, verse 22. Now God made an earth. Beautiful. Self-contained. What a package. What a gift. What a beautiful gift. And he gave it to that man. And that man could live on it, not have to work, not have to sweat, not have to do anything, but just kind of follow through, and it would not have been a hard life for him. But after they eat of this fruit, we're going to see. And Adam said, this is now bone of my bone, flesh of my flesh. She shall be called woman, because she was taken out